Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Canal Algérie's News in English. And tonight it will be fully dedicated to the final game of the African Nations Championship 2022. Following a game that lasted 120 minutes and penalty shootouts, Algeria lost to Senegal in an intense final at the Nelson Mandela Stadium. The African Nations Championship Cup was snatched by the Senegalese team. Present at the closing ceremony of the African Nations Championship 2022 were the Prime Minister Ayman bin Abdelrahman and the President of the African Football Confederation, Patrice Motsepe, in addition to the advisor to the President of the Republic and members of the government, as well as prominent national and international sports figures. The exceptional closing ceremony of this historical edition stood out thanks to the different artistic shows from national and international performers, much to the pleasure of supporters present at the Nelson Mandela Stadium and the viewers all across the country. The exceptional audience all throughout the matches was one of the main factors of the success of this edition, qualified as a historical, and they did not disappoint on the last day of CHAN 2022 as shown in these images. In a press conference, the president of the African Football Confederation praised President Tebboun's commitment to promote football, reaffirming once again that Algeria's CHAN is the best in history. Let's have a listen.
I want to thank President Tebboune for his passion, support, hospitality. I had a very good meeting with him when I think it was my second meeting. Yeah, I met him in July last year, and had a long meeting with him, and I always say that football in any country in Africa, to have a head of state who loves football, who believes in football, who's passionate about football, who supports football, builds football infrastructure, makes resources available, it's a huge benefit and a huge advantage for football development. And I just want to thank him. I thank his government, the government of Algeria, for their support, for their love, for their commitment to football in this country. The 54 nations in Africa whom CAF represents are very grateful. And finally, I want to thank the people of Algeria.
Different factors contributed to making this African Nations Championship a success, mainly the fans who wholeheartedly supported our national team, the volunteers and the personnel of the stadiums as well. Anya Al-Bahri will tell us more.
This sporting event created a wonderful atmosphere full of enthusiasm throughout the country. The supporters inside the Nelson Mandela Stadium and in various spaces designated for watching the game cheered on our national team. The families were also strongly present in the 7th edition to enjoy the closing ceremony, which gained everyone's praise. In the north, south, east or west, the fans appreciated the initiatives made by local authorities, who set up giant screens for the collective follow-up of the final match that will bring the national team together with its Senegalese counterpart. These places witnessed a large presence from all categories of society, including youth, women, children, and even families who were unable to attend the Nelson Mandela Stadium. All of them were on time to support our national team. Young volunteers who played an important role in the success of the CHAN were present to support our national team. Their hearts beat for our flag, and all their hopes are to snatch this continental title. The impressive and historic success of Algeria in organizing the 7th edition of Africa's Nation Championship was made a success thanks to the tremendous efforts made by all the concerned bodies and sectors, and also thanks to the invisible soldiers who demonstrated their competence and know-how in the organization of this event. This successful and historical edition ended with a marvelous artistic show which brought together national and international artists.
The Speaker of the Council of the Nation, Saleh Goujil, received the President of the Pan-African Parliament, Fortune Shambira, where both parties discussed means and ways to strengthen parliamentary cooperation between both bodies. The President of the Pan-African Parliament was given explanations about the history of the Council of the Nation through a visual presentation of its diplomatic activities. The shooting of Mohamed Belouizdad's film kicked off on Saturday in the presence of the Minister of Communication, Mohamed Bouslimani, and the head of EPTV, Nadir Bouqabis. Let's discover more with Sabrina Taferginnet.
In Belouizdad and in the 11th of December Square in Algiers, it was the kickoff of the shooting of a movie dedicated to retracing Mohamed Belouizdad's life and his fight against colonialism. This feature film, produced by the Algerian television, plotted his journey and the important stages of Mohamed Belouizdad's life, one of the pioneers who organized the outbreak of the National Liberation War. Such historic movies, documentaries and programs as well will be for the young generation a way to introduce their country's history and to know that Algeria's independence wasn't without any sacrifices. The legacy of our valiant martyrs must be preserved. Movies like this are a must to deliver the message for our generation and the future ones as well. A movie produced by Rashid Belhaj and Moura Soubaz as the writer, the end of the shooting is expected to be next June.
With that, we wrap up our news bulletin. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great night.